Hi, this is Bob Miglani, bestselling author of Embrace the Chaos. Today, I have a very special guest, Arjan Haverhals, who's CEO of One Dental. It's a public company, part of Milestone Scientific, and he's going to talk to us. He's going to talk to us about how he leads in chaos. How are you, Arjan? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Bob. Good morning.
Good morning. We're going through a lot of chaos, Arjan. A lot of chaos these days with the pandemic. You run, and you are new to this company. And
That's
so
correct.
tell us about yourself a little bit. Tell us about your company. And then we're going to ask the biggest question everyone's feeling and thinking about today. How do we move forward in these crazy times of the pandemic? So tell us a little bit about yourself, Arjan.
Okay, well, thank you, Bob, for the introduction. So, Milestone Scientific is a research and development company. They have a patented technology that we use for many indications in both the medical and the dental field. So, my experience is coming from the pharmaceutical industry and more than 20 years of experience within the medtech, the dental industry. And as you know, I recently joined Milestone Scientific in the beginning of June as the CEO of One Dental, and at the same time helping and supporting also the company in the commercialization from a marketing and international sales point of view for the medical division as well of the company.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, that's huge. First of all, being CEO right at the center of the pandemic. That is probably one of the most challenging things to do. You've got shareholders, you've got investors, you've got customers, you've got teams, organization. How do you deal with all this chaos? So tell us about your experience of becoming CEO of this company in the middle of a pandemic. What's it like?
Yeah, it was, of course, naturally, yes, for everybody, facing this pandemic and dealing with it, that's a challenge for everybody. Independent, if it is business related, I think more importantly, also privately related. And then secondly, I think as a CEO, it's not really about me. It's more about the team. And what we want to do is twofold. First of all, if I look at it internally, we would like to attract and hire best talent that can help us, in not only surviving this pandemic and surviving this situation, but as well, more importantly, thrive in these difficult times. Now, then I come to a more important issue that is really customer focus. Customers are key, and we serve two groups of customers. On one hand, we have the dentists, and on the other hand, we have the anesthesiologist. Mm-hmm. So what I really try to do as of day one is focus on the customers, use this time to look back and look at what worked, what didn't work. How can we change? Because at the end of the day, we have to show our adaptation and our flexibility as well to this new environment that we are facing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think I think you've hit it right on the head, actually, is you've got to adapt to this new environment, and that requires a lot of change, but change isn't easy. So tell us a little bit about your customers. Your dentists or your customers, they're closed right now, right? Some of them are closed, they're slow, some of them are opening up. What is on their mind? What's going on with dentists and actually also anesthesiologists in the hospitals?
Well, I think in general, the dentists, as you say, they are facing difficult times. As of March, April, the majority of all the dental offices actually closed down. We've seen that in the private practice, we've seen that in the larger DSO organizations as well. So they really have, been hit hard by this pandemic. Now, recently, we see that these dental offices are opening again. Moreover, they are concerned, I think, about two things. One is to secure and sustain a safe environment for their staff and also importantly for their patients. And I think secondly, how can I bring my business back to those levels prior to the pandemic? Yes. So for us, we have to identify and we have to provide those services that we help them in achieving that.
Right, right. So I'm hearing a couple of great, really interesting points. I think first is you said to me the team, right? It's not about you as CEO, it's the team. It's really about the team and having diverse team, having new ideas, new solutions,
Hmm.
because you've got to adapt. So that's really important as a lesson for me is as CEO, you've got to have a good, strong, vibrant, team that helps with come up with new ideas and new solutions for a marketplace. And the second thing I heard was customer focus and
Hmm.
really understanding that customer and the mindset of that customer. And so, how do you then take that, Arjan? How do you take all of that, what's happening in the marketplace with your customers, and what are the kind of things do you focus on? Because there's a lot to focus on internally, right? And which way do you drive the team? Which direction do you go when there's so much change in the marketplace? How do you know which way to go in the marketplace?
That's a good question. I think from a, let's say, a softer emotional point of view, what I always say to my team, I invite them to take ownership.
Yeah.
I want my team to be agile, and I also want my team, to look for opportunities that actually can help the
Mm,
customers to survive
mm,
in these circumstances, right?
right.
So it is really giving them the autonomy as well to come up with creative ideas
Mm-hmm.
and solutions, and looking at things that we have to do now moving forward
Yes.
that we have not done in the past. I think our sales communication is
Yes.
key in general, right?
Yes.
So the communication has to be clear, has to be crisp. We have to listen to the customer. We have to understand their situation,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have to provide our services based on those customer needs. I think as a good example is as dental offices were reopening again, we reached out to the Academy of General Dentistry and we found a cooperation opportunity to, in a very focused marketing approach,
Mm-hmm.
to make known to the dentists that we are there to help them based on the services that we provide and based on the products that we provide. And one of the key elements of our products is probably, as you know, it is our products come in a sterile disposable for single use,
Mm-hmm.
which is then, of course, also helping in creating and supporting that safe environment that you want to create for the staff and also for the patient. Because I think patients these days
Mm-hmm.
are concerned about possible virus contamination in general, and whatever we can do together with the dentist to create that peace of mind and to avoid any risk for patients in cooperation with the dentist to go to the clinic, I think that is an important factor for inviting patients back to the dental offices as well.
Yeah, no, I think I like that idea of partnership, alliance development. You've reached out
Yes,
to the Association of Dentists and you've said to them, let's have a conversation.
yes.
And these are extraordinary times. And so you've reached out, you've said, hey, let's work together and figuring out how we can help dentists as
Mhm.
a community, as a customer group. And you found areas of common collaboration that where you can move forward on, which is actually really, really smart to do that. So how do you, so are you find people are open? You think people are open to having conversations, or are they so busy
Yes,
fighting the fires?
absolutely. I think it's very interesting to see because, I always say that the services that we provide, we always are very much focused on continuous education
Yeah.
and educating the dental professionals out there in these days. And as you know, many companies have seen that shift from direct customer face-to-face meetings, physical meetings in their dental practice, and moving much more towards video conferencing,
Yes.
right? So that is what we are doing as well. At the same time, we have reached out to institutions as well because we believe that as early as possible in the dental professional education cycle, we
Mm.
want to be as early as possible be a partner of these institutions as well. And we received positive feedback, and believe it or not, I think there's still for us enough and a lot of work to do to make our company known about the advantages that the system that we are having, what these advantages are for the dental professionals. And when people are using it, you know, they, yeah, in a way, they are blown away because they are not always aware about the concept and about the benefits, and not so much the clinical benefits, but also what it can mean for bringing patients back to their dental office.
Right. And they have to think differently now, right? I mean, that's the whole point, is that as a dentist, you know, a profession, as medical professions, they have to start reinventing and transforming their business to survive and to thrive in this pandemic. And that means they've got to be open-minded to looking at new opportunities that your company might be presenting to say, hey, how can I grow my business? How can I, you know, not just sort of keep it going back to what it was pre-COVID, but how can I move forward in these crazy, very competitive times? And what's the value proposition that I have as a dentist to my patients, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I, you know, on top of that, I think in addition to that, it's really, we are a service provider, I always say it, right? Yes, we have a good product, and yes, we have means of growing the dental business as well from a clinician point of view. But of course, we are a service provider, so we need to understand what the value proposition is in this respect from the dentist to their patients.
Yes.
And we have to sort of tap into that.
Yes.
And adapt our value proposition to theirs as well, and to come to that formula that we together with the dentist can communicate that to their patients as well. Like for example, our concept is spot on, I would say, for pediatric dentistry.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know it, but only in the United States there are about 40 million people that have fear for the dentist. We call that dental phobic, right?
Yeah.
Research also shows that 25% of the second appointment is canceled by
People don't
patients.
show up. People don't show
They
up.
don't show up because of fear. Not necessarily fear for the dentist, but perhaps fear for the
The
noise,
needle, the needles.
the needle,
Yes.
the syringe. I think that is especially for children and pediatric dentists. That is, I think, top of mind. One of those elements that that are a concern. Now, if we can help them to take that fear away, and we can help them to communicate that to their patients, and more importantly, I think, to communicate that to the parents of the patient, then I think we have created a win-win situation. We help the dental professionals to get patient back, to reduce that anxiety level. We communicate and give the right information to the patients and their parents. And the dentist, in that way, you know, they pave the way together with the dentist to attract more patients to their clinics. And of course, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's all about communication. Communication is key. So we have to do that in a very proper, professional way to the population and to the patient population out there.
Well, it sounds to me, Arjan, I mean, you know, I've talked to a lot of CEOs. I work with a lot of CEOs. And one of the most important characteristics of a CEO like yourself, I think, and successful CEOs, is they have this intense focus towards the customer experience. Really, really, really in-depth understanding the customer. So it's not necessarily about the product, the company, look at my company, look at my product. It's really about them and figuring out a way to meet their needs, wants, desires that are in the marketplace. And so is that something that, where did you get that? Where did you get that understanding of, where did you learn that? Is that some background that you have in marketing and sales? I mean, how did you become CEO of this company? And how did you get that focus towards the customer experience and really understanding that customer?
Well, I think it's a combination of several factors. I think you know, multiple years being in a marketing and sales role for more than 30 years. That's one thing. So you know, over the years, you still have me, myself, and I. I also have to adapt. I also have to change. I also have to continue learning. Right. I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to a human factor, and that is what I call the ability to listen. And the ability to listen, you create that by asking the right questions. right? And in one of my previous jobs, that was a very good learning school. It was always like the what, the how, the why, the when. Why are we doing it? What is the problem that we are solving that the customers are having?
Mm,
How can we help? When does that solution need to be in place and needs to be offered? In which format is that going to be offered?
mm,
And I'm a strong believer also, as when you run a business, if you invite the customer
yes.
to the problem that
Yeah.
I am facing and you make them part of solving that problem for me,
Yeah.
the company, as well as theirs,
Yes.
I think that's a very beautiful team spirit
Yeah.
and team effort. So it is not us that are coming or
Yeah.
we that are coming with the
Yeah.
solution,
Right.
but it is actually a
Yeah.
team approach where we invite the customer to take active part into this and participate in that,
Mm,
and at the same time provide a solution that is tailor-made for them. And
right.
and then I think there should not be any surprises later on
Right.
when you introduce those concepts.
Yeah. So it's a co-development of
Yes.
the solution. That's really key. I love that. I love that. So Arjen, give us one tip. So give us a piece of advice to the LinkedIn family out there about what it's like to be CEO. What would you recommend to people, to professionals who are trying to grow their career, thrive in their business, in their life today, in this pandemic world? We heard a lot of wonderful nuggets that I'm going to share in the text below, but give us one tip or piece of advice that you would give other people, other professionals who are trying to grow these days.
I think focus is key.
Yeah.
Customer focus is key. I'm a strong believer in doing the right things right. I
Yeah.
think the challenges these days is that probably, there are several areas that as a CEO of a company that you need to solve. And time is a limiting factor, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it is really what I mean by focus is, take the top three or top to 3 to 5 priorities
Mm-hmm.
that improve the customer experience,
Mm-hmm.
create an amazing customer experience,
Mm-hmm.
bond with your customers, liaise with them,
Mm-hmm.
and select those priorities to change the world of the customer.
Right.
More importantly, what I always believe is, and I think that's the purpose of our company as well, our purpose is that actually we would like the dentist to see more patients.
Right.
And we need to help the dentist to see more patients. And how we are doing that? Through our services, through our products,
Mm-hmm.
by applying a standard of care, by applying,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I would call it our disruptive technology, but
Mm-hmm.
always with one key focus, and that is improving the quality of life to patients.
Mm-hmm.
So identify your purpose,
Yes.
liaise with the customers,
Yes.
work together, identify the solution, and then offer that solution.
I love
That
it.
would be
Yeah.
that would be my advice in
That's
this
terrific.
respect.
So it's really about changing with the customer. If the customer has changing needs, you go with those changing needs. You can't stay static and keep offering the same old thing. You've got to
Absolutely.
change your own behavior and the way you adapt into the customer marketplace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I know one other thing about you, Arjen, is you're number one, always on time, if not early, to any conversations that we've had. So that's a wonderful habit to have. And second, you're an early riser as well, right? You get up
Yes.
very early in the morning. How do you find that helps you lead in these times of chaos today? Or getting up early, these are habits. These are personal, I guess, self-leadership habits.
Yeah, it's discipline, I think, right? So being on time. Fortunately, I've worked about 14 years for a Swiss company, so in the
You
tobacco
know,
industry, what it's important, I think, and it's also about culture.
yeah.
One of my mentors in that company, in that Swiss company, which was Straumann, uh, you know, being on time is not a matter of being on time or not. Being on time is a matter of showing respect.
Yes.
If I would come 5 minutes late into a meeting or for a call, I already sent the signal
Yeah.
that, for example, you are not important enough to me to
Yeah.
be on time.
Yes.
And I think if you think about it, there's a lot of value in that, right?
Yes.
So that is, I think, discipline, but discipline translated into, again, customer perception. If
Right.
I would be late for every customer meeting
Yes.
for 10 minutes, what do I say?
Right.
You're not important enough to me.
Yes. Yes.
That's not the case. So I'd rather be 5 minutes earlier.
Right.
Your second question was early up in the morning. Yes, I just wake up early, go for a run, take a shower, and that's my way of preparation and stay focused and sort
Yes.
of have a clear mind for the challenges that I face during the day. And that's just, yeah, the way I handle that of staying focused. Other people
Yeah.
might do yoga or exercise or
Hmm.
other ways to motivate themselves for the day. But for me, it's creating that clear mind and stay focused and being sharp during the day. So
Yeah.
that is my
Yeah.
yeah,
For
my
sure.
way of starting the day, so to
Right,
say.
right. I always like to say that you can't control the chaos the rest of the day, but you can control your morning. So control your morning because the rest of the day
Absolutely.
is going to be crazy because we're coming
Absolutely.
at so many things coming at us. Arjan, thank you very much. It's been a wonderful conversation to have with you. I think, one of the things I've learned in this conversation with you is these are the things you talk about. These are quality traits you talk about, which are under your control, right? In this
Mhm.
pandemic, I always like to say is we don't have control over this pandemic, but we do have control over our mindset, the actions and directions that you're taking with a customer focus, doing the right things, showing up on time, innovating, having a great team, to diverse team that open to new ideas and solutions. These are all under your control. And so that's
Mhm.
one of the most important things I learned from our conversation today with you, Arjan, is that, focus on these controllable factors and really just focus on that and keep doing it, keep moving forward. So thank you very much, Arjan, for your time. I really appreciate our conversation together, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Have a great day.
Thank you. This is Bob Miglani signing off with love and respect for all that you do. Have a great day, everyone. Take care. Bye.